Hey folks, Tony here today, and I'm here to talk about something that happened this morning. This is kind of just a blog entry, and I want to talk about why YouTube videos get watched or don't get watched. I was in a meeting with my boss, and I do healthcare videos, which are by their very nature, they have to be very conservative. You have to be very tasteful about healthcare videos. You're talking about somebody's healthcare, for heaven's sake, so you have to follow really a very formulaic path. But it came up in one of the meetings this morning that a lot of our videos that we do for healthcare are not getting watched very much. And, I'm sure he'd like to see some videos go viral. We've had one or two that sort of have. One is very cool. It's about a guy that's a technician that is able to bust a piece of peppermint with a lithotripsy machine. So that one's been watched like 50,000 times. That's the kind of thing, of course, that gets a lot of YouTube videos. Like something about a new shoulder surgery procedure is usually only watched by people who need shoulder surgery. So we kind of batted around some ideas and stuff, but it got me really thinking, why do people watch certain videos and what can we do? Is there a formula for why a video does not get watched and why a video does get watched? So I have written this blog. I'm going to read you just part of it. I'm not going to put you through all of it. I will put a link to the blog in the description of this video. So what I've done is I've come up with a formula for why videos may or may not be viewed from a corporate point of view. In other words, if it's an advertisement, a video that's trying to convey a corporate message, and I use healthcare a lot since I'm in healthcare and having to deal with that. And these are some of the points I've come up with. So I'm going to be reading off the screen. Apologize for that. Formula for what I would call minimal views and limited sharing. And let's face it, sharing is what it's all about, right? You might get some views, but you want people to be sharing the videos. Here's what I said. I think you have to, first of all, for the formula for not getting many views, you have to ask these questions. One, is my video an advertisement? People don't want to just watch your commercial or promotional ad, no matter how cleverly you veil it in narrative and touchy-feeliness, I guess is the word I'm looking for. The only exception is if your ad is striking or funny. And so funny that people can't not watch it. When I think of the Dollar Shave Club ads or the Poopery. I mean, it's crazy, ludicrous kind of advertising. But look those videos up, and you'll see what I mean. Those are videos that are promoting a product. It is an advertisement, but it's so funny you want to keep going back and watching again. There's something so amazing about it. Some of the GoPro ads are really breathtaking because of just wow. It makes you think. That's awesome. So if you can blow people away with awesomeness, something that's really unique or something that's very funny, then you can still put advertisements out there. But otherwise, people are not going to keep coming back, and your ads are not going to go viral, no matter how much money or time you've spent on them. Number two, is it boring? I mean, let's face it, the latest MRI or widget technology or success story may be awesome in news in your industry, but it's going to be snooze time for most of the populace. Number three, is your video overly corporate? And I'll tell you how I phrased this. By this I mean, is it full of business jargon? Is it full of like Jedi mind tricks that aim to convince people that you're excellent? Is it full of cliches? Is it overly slick and polished? Is it just all kind of glossy that kind of screams out that you've spent a bunch of money on production at the expense of your clients or your patients? I mean, that might seem cool to the big shots that sit behind the desk, but very few people will like it or share it. Number four, for what not to do, how to not sell a video. Ask yourself this question: has it already been done? I mean, this is a huge one in healthcare marketing. To play it safe, healthcare marketers kind of stay firmly entrenched in a tight little box. They're like thinking, hoping, praying that their new clever angle can convince people to choose them over another competitor, but never really willing to convey a message that's truly original. Now, I've seen hundreds of ads like that over the years, and they still just boil down to the basest of image pieces. It's just image ads. It takes great courage to try and communicate, or to try to communicate with people in a totally new way. So most conservative marketers just hatch stylish but non-substantive ways to play it safe. And I mean, that is big time true in healthcare. It is with a lot of corporate videos that I've produced as well too. I do a lot of things for nonprofits, and it's, they're just playing it too safe. People are not going to, it's just not something that screams out, hey, look at me, because this is something I've not seen before. Number 5, is it narrow in scope? If your service or product only benefits a narrow audience, then you'll get precious few views and shares. This is simple, of course, but it's amazing how many videos I've had to produce over the years that will only interest the thinnest slice of the populace. Is it inane? Boy, this is a big one for me. And healthcare marketing particularly can be very inane. By that I mean most corporate and healthcare videos are like plagued with what I call the la-di-da factor. I mean, they're safe, they're cute, they're careful, they're too nice, they're predictable, they're overplanned, overanalyzed, overexecuted, and stodgy. And these videos promote an ideal that people see right through. The viewer will likely say, yeah, right, yeah, and move on, right? So what are my formulas for maximum views and increased sharing? And like I say, I'm just learning these things, so I'm going to have to start applying them to my own videos as I put them out there. And probably this one that I'm doing right now is breaking a lot of these rules. But here we go. Ask yourself these questions if you want maximum views and increased sharing. Number 1, is this information useful? Is there substance here that people really care to know about? Is it revolutionary and life-changing? Is the product or service something that will make my life or understanding of life better? Or is the story the same way? Number 2, is it interesting? Is the subject matter presented in an exciting and compelling way? Is the delivery genuine? Is it true to life? Does the message flow logically and the story build to a satisfying climax? In the end, am I glad to have spent my time learning this material? Hopefully I'm not boring you and doing that very thing myself. Number 3, is it fun? Even boring or technical information becomes far more viewable and shareable if it's presented with humor, satire, irony, or other tried and true storytelling conventions. If the doctor or manufacturer is engaging, if the product or service is featured in a novel setting, then people will chuckle or at least be amused, and perhaps they'll watch it, rewatch it, and share it. Number 4, is it educational? Yeah, I love these Vsauce and people like that. Awesome videos there. Great job, guys. You bring me to new levels of thought. The TED Talks and things like that online. I love that. We need to bring more of that into our corporate and healthcare videos. What I say is, if I don't watch this video, will I not be in the know? Will I fall behind the pack? Successful educational videos on YouTube and in other social media sites have attention-grabbing titles, attention-retaining content early in the video, followed up with solid, fact-based storytelling that hopefully continues to expand our intellect as we move toward an enlightening conclusion. And that's the big thing, is the thing I do like about Vsauce, great job those guys, is that it is fairly enlightening video. It's entertaining. It's presented in a very cool way. It's not just looking at me like you're doing now. And great job. I don't know all the rules about what I can use and not use. That's why I don't use a whole lot of graphics and things in my videos. I'm learning that stuff as I go along. Number 5, is it original? As I said a while ago, has it been done before? Well, this is the converse of that, or the opposite of it. There is much to be said for being formulaic, or else there would not be so many movie sequels, but still the sequels usually keep coming because someone first conceived an original message or storyline that was marketable, right? It's sometimes necessary to beg, borrow, and steal from other sources, but you should mix it all together and come up with a soup that's all your own. I like the fact that it seems like it was probably, trying to think who it was, maybe it's Jason Mraz actually used that term. He watched what other bands and stuff were doing, and he pulled all of his music together from different sources and created what he called a musical soup. I think it's what we need a whole lot more of on the internet, and particularly if you're trying to go for a sustained YouTube audience. Number 6, is it broad in scope? You want lots of views and engagement. Determine what the masses want and give it to them. End of story. Number 7, and this one is really big, I think. I think we overproduce and we try to create a reality that's not true. And so a lot of people, particularly in healthcare and in other corporate marketing endeavors with video, they're just not telling their story in a way that rings true and legitimate with people. So my number 7 is it edgy and real? People like reality. I mean, that's all you see on television. Don't be afraid to give it to them. Show them your services, products, people, and places in a true light. Give the audience something gripping, urgent, unbridled, and intriguing. It's okay to polish it a bit as long as it's not overdone. But sometimes you got to set the tripod, the crane, and the dolly aside and just go on, do it handheld. It makes the viewer feel like they are part of the action and story. If done right, the content seems more important and memorable. You know, think The Shield, right? Think about some of the other really great dramas. I even think of Lost and all. Handheld shots. Sometimes, sometimes the storytelling's great. I look at a television show like Mad Men. It's all done on a tripod. Different tone, though, different feel. I think to be more modern, and particularly if you want your products to be seen as modern and as cutting edge, then sometimes let the polish go, and let the things ring true. And I wrap up with some finer points here that I say I could share, but, am I following my own advice? Well, on my YouTube channel, I'd say no. I'm starting to try to employ all these different thoughts, and maybe you have your own for what makes a good YouTube video or not. My focus with this one again was for corporate people, because I do so many freelance corporate videos. I'd love for somebody to come to me and say, Tony, take those 7 last things you said and let's do them. And then let's abandon all these things that are so formulaic and so just inside the box. And I know that's an overused cliche, but it's so true with so many people. And I get paid good money to do these videos that are pretty blasé. But if you want to reach the masses, if you want to really shake things up, if you want to really communicate with people, you got to be willing to do some stuff that's out there, or at least some things that are very imaginative and inventive. You got to take some time. You got to commit to it, stick to it, and don't let yourself get pushed back down inside that box. That's my message, my little blog for today. Hope this helps. If you got comments, please leave them. Please subscribe if you'd like to. Enjoy my videos if you like that kind of thing. I mean, I know I'm an acquired taste. If you can stand the accent, if you can stand the bravado of the Southern Appalachian crazy guy, then stick with me, and we'll keep on going on these little trips. Y'all be cool. Peace in the world. Love y'all. Bye-bye.